Hey guys, you're watching Tech Edit. It is Basil here, and today I'm talking about the Pixel 7, not the Pixel 7 Pro. I've seen quite a bit of Pixel 7 Pro coverage online, and I really wanted to get across what it's like to use the vanilla Pixel 7. So if you're thinking about picking one up, then stay tuned for the rest of this video. Before I jump into the details though, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. It's how you stay on top of everything that I do. Okay, starting with the whole look and feel of the Pixel 7. It's the smaller version of the Pro, or it's a smaller alternative, but don't be fooled, it is not that small. Sure, if you're coming from a Pixel 6, for example, it is more elegant, it is smaller, the screen's shrunken, so is the size, the weight, it's a lighter phone, and also it doesn't feel quite so clunky, but it's still a fair bit bigger than a lot of the compact alternatives on the market. Alongside the Zenfone 9, and it's about 30 grams heavier, it's taller, it's wider, but it isn't thicker. The Zenfone 9's 9.1mm thick versus 8.7mm thick on the Pixel 7, but still it is a beefier phone in the pocket when you consider its overall footprint. It's also a fair bit bigger than the Pixel 6a. The Pixel 7's near 200 grams, the Pixel 6a is around 20 grams less. And the reason for that's probably the plastic back more than anything, but the Pixel 6a still gets a metal frame and it's just that bit more pocketable. Moving on to the Apple camp, and if you've got an iPhone and you're thinking about going Google, then you don't want to go for the Google Pixel 7 as a compact option. It's a fair bit bigger than the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 14 Pro as well. And of course, one of our favorite compact flagships of the last year, the Xiaomi 12, is also a fair bit smaller than the Pixel 7. And so talking about the Pixel 7 as a compact flagship is a little bit misleading. Yes, it's more compact than the Pixel 7 Pro, but it still isn't a small phone per se. At £599, it's great that we've got glass and metal. It's an aluminium frame, Gorilla Glass Victus around the back, and on the front it's a curved back and an almost 2.5D slightly curved front. But it doesn't quite feel as premium as the polished framed Google Pixel 7 Pro, for example. Specifically, I'm referring to where the glass and the metal meet. There's a slight lip that just feels a little bit noticeable under the finger, and with that glossy back and the more matte frame, the texture difference pronounces it even more. So there's definitely an element of being less refined than pricier phones, but you definitely get what you pay for. For £599, it's exactly what we'd expect, especially considering the fact you've got things like waterproofing as well, which is great to have on a 600 odd pound phone. Now, moving on to colors and cases, and if you want a case on your phone, then pick whichever color is available. If, however, you don't want a case on your phone, my recommendation would definitely be don't go with the black one. It attracts fingerprints way more readily than the other colors, and so if you have a choice, do go for one of the lighter colors. It's more playful and it also looks less grubby when you use it without a case. But if you are using the case, obviously you can go with one of the official cases. I've been using the Moment MagSafe case, which adds MagSafe functionality, and I really like using it because I've got loads of MagSafe accessories, mounting connectors from Moment as well, and they work really nicely with the case. And so they're the main takeaways I got using the phone from a design point of view. As for the screen, it's a 90Hz wide Full HD display with OLED technology, and I really liked it. I used it outdoors. I didn't have any issues viewing it outdoors. It isn't the sharpest screen out there. It isn't the smoothest screen out there at 90Hz, not 120Hz, but honestly, I really didn't notice it. You really won't unless you use it side by side with a 120 or 160 or 40Hz phone, like a gaming phone. Personally though, I was gaming on it, playing Injustice 2 at 90 frames per second. Google's got a new gaming interface that has native frame rate displaying when you're playing a game, which is pretty cool. And generally, I just found the screen experience all in all to be really, really good. It looks good, it's responsive, and the in-screen fingerprint scanner worked well in my time with it. Now, it still isn't the most responsive fingerprint scanner I've ever used, but what's great this time around is you've got Face ID or face recognition. It isn't that secure because it's only the selfie camera really doing the work. Nothing like actual Face ID with front sensors on the iPhone. But what I found was when my finger was a little bit wet, for example, or a little bit dry, and the fingerprint scanner did struggle, it instantly deferred to the front camera and unlocked my phone and I got in it. So none of the issues that I've had with previous Pixels. Now, face unlocking is missing from a lot of phones like the Sony Xperia 5 Mark IV, for example. So I really hope as Android 13 rolls out to other phones and Google's putting it on its own phones, other manufacturers take heed, and it is just a given because it's so handy when a fingerprint scanner fumbles. There's been a lot of fuss around Material U for the last year or so. It's not new, but it is fun. That said, it wouldn't make me pick up a Pixel. What probably would is the fact apps just tend to work on it to full effect. For example, Netflix played back content in HDR. HDR isn't a given, even if your device supports it, for services like Netflix, Amazon Prime across devices, but Pixels, like Samsung phones generally, are well supported on that front. Also, 5 years of security updates. If I was picking up a phone for a loved one who I just wanted to make sure was covered when it came to having the latest security software on their phones, a Pixel 6a or Pixel 7 definitely wouldn't be a bad shout. If you are coming from an iPhone though, then definitely check app compatibility, because just because you got a Pixel doesn't mean you'll have apps that are available for iOS. I use MindNote every single day for my MacBook and my iPad, and when I'm reviewing an iPhone for my iPhone, MindNote, GoodNotes, those really great apps, they're not available for Android phones in general, so do cover your bases there. And also anyone coming from an iPhone or any other phone who thinks this is a Google camera phone, I'm going to have full control over my camera. That isn't the case. Google doesn't give you manual control out of the box. You have to download third-party apps like Lightroom or Filmic Pro to get control over your photos and your videos. Both of those apps are really good and can really unlock a lot of the features of the Pixel. In the standard camera app, it will make all the decisions for you, but it may frustrate you a little bit. I was trying to take a picture of the moon and I couldn't drop the exposure that low. However, when I fired up Lightroom, dropped the ISO all the way down, extended the shutter speed only as long as I needed it to, I was able to do it. What you will get is raw photo capture out of the box using the native camera app and very clever computational photography that will help your photo look as good as possible almost every time. Another aspect I don't love about the Pixel 7's camera is the fact raw photos aren't captured at 50 megapixels. On the iPhone, I was able to capture the most excellent family portrait using that 48 megapixel camera, capturing 48 megapixel RAWs, editing it in Lightroom, cropping it down, and making everything look exactly like I wanted it to. You can capture 12 megapixel RAWs, sure, but they don't have the detail. And if lighting is great, why can't I unlock 50 megapixel RAWs? That's what I want to know, Google. That said, there was one real camera highlight that is matched on iOS and Android. If you've got an Apple Watch or a Pixel Watch, it's that remote viewfinder on your watch. If you are doing something like taking a group picture or a portrait, you can get a viewfinder on your wrist and you can control it with a 3-second timer. So you take the picture from a distance and frame everything up beautifully on your wrist. The final aspect of using the Google Pixel 7 day in, day out for around 6.5 days was inconsistency with battery life. It started off really not that good and it got better over time. Now, Google does have an adaptive battery feature and the smarts behind it are all interwoven with everything that the Tensor G2 brings to the table. And it really is adaptive. Your first impression of the battery isn't going to be representative of your whole time with the phone. It also has adaptive charging as well. So it'll charge it more slowly as it gets to know your charging habits to preserve the battery life of your phone. So when you need it, it's charged, but when you don't, it isn't. And I really do like that. So in a nutshell, if you want a phone with excellent battery life, you probably won't want the Pixel 7. It's good, or it got good, but I personally wouldn't want to review it after 6.5 days of using it. Reviewers will do their very best, but don't necessarily take battery life scores at face value, because the Pixel 7 has been the most inconsistent phone I've experienced when it comes to battery life from day 1 through to day 7. So that's what it's been like living with the Pixel, with some key take-homes talked about. I really hope you enjoyed it and feel like you know the Pixel 7 a little bit better than you did before you watched this video. If you did, if you like this channel, give it a thumbs up. I really would appreciate it if you subscribe, ding that bell. You can also check us out on socials, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, tech_edit_. Also, leave any comments in the comment section below. I know this channel's gone through some changes and I really want to make sure that updates all reflect what you guys want to see. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.